What if I told you there are real wealth laws, God's hidden principles that banks don't teach, and if you start using them today, your whole money story could begin to change? Have you ever felt crushed by bills, scrolling through other people's success and wondering, why not me? Maybe you work overtime, pinch every penny, and still the paycheck disappears. Or you've tried every budget app, every side hustle, and nothing sticks. You pray, you fast, you do what you think is right, and yet there's this gnawing frustration. Your faith feels distant from your finances. You're not alone. I've sat with people who cry quietly over a foreclosure notice, moms who are stretched thin, young professionals who feel stuck at the same income for years. And for many of them, the pain is doubled. Not only the money stress, but the guilt. Am I failing God? Am I not spiritual enough to be blessed? That question hurts because it mixes shame with need. Here's the truth. God's economy doesn't run on the same rules as a bank. Banks teach you interest rates, credit scores, and diversification. Those things have their place. But God's wealth laws operate on spiritual principles, simple, counterintuitive, and profoundly practical. They don't promise instant riches or a money miracle the moment you pray. They promise a different rhythm: seed, soil, seasons, and stewardship. And when you align your life to that rhythm, the results start to look different. Let me pull this apart into 6 hidden wealth laws God uses that banks won't tell you. 1. The seed law. Giving precedes increase. The economy of grace starts with generosity. Not because God needs your money, but because your heart needs the practice of trust. When you give, you break the grip of fear and plant faith in fertile soil. 2. The stewardship law. Everything is entrusted, not owned. Banks teach ownership. Scripture teaches stewardship. When you see resources as entrusted to you, priorities change. You protect, multiply, and allocate wisely instead of hoarding or wasting. 3. The margin law. Guard the gap between income and lifestyle. Wealth isn't just what you earn, it's what you don't spend. Create margin. Margin is where peace and opportunity live. Banks never measure your margin as a spiritual discipline, but God calls margin wisdom. 4. The patience law. Seasons beat speed. Investments compound in seasons. God's timing is not a quick fix scheme. The long obedience in the same direction often yields the harvest, even if it's quiet at first. 5. The wisdom law. Seek counsel before moves. Proverbs says wise plans need many counselors. Spiritual insight plus practical advice prevents costly mistakes banks don't warn you about, like following a shiny, get-rich-quick without wisdom. 6. The generational law. Decisions compound across generations. The choices you make today can bless your kids and your grandkids. Banks talk legacy in cold numbers. God's legacy is character, faith, and freedom from the poverty cycles. These aren't financial hacks. They are character disciplines that rewire how you relate to money. Listen to this. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. Proverbs 3:9-10, NLT. Put that in modern language. Give God the first and best of what you have, not what's left over. Live like what you have belongs to Him. Then watch. He'll steward you in ways you can't engineer alone. That verse isn't a magic formula for instant money. It's an invitation to reorder your heart. When the first fruits become a habit, everything else is measured afterward. It trains you to prioritize what lasts over what's loud. And spiritually, it places your finances under God's care, instead of letting anxiety drive every decision. Let me tell you about Sarah. 2 years ago, she was working 2 jobs, exhausted, and felt stuck under a mountain of student loans. She tried every budget, every side hustle, and still lived month to month. One night, she read Proverbs 3:9 and decided to try something radical. She started giving a small portion, tiny, almost invisible to her budget, on the first paycheck of the month. Not because she thought it would instantly erase debt, but because she wanted to practice trusting God with the first part of her life. Within 6 months, opportunities showed up. A freelance client who paid double what she expected, a roommate moved out and paid back a deposit she thought she'd lost, and a mentor invited her to a part-time role that matched her skills. It wasn't magic. It was a sequence of small, wise choices made in faith. The giving didn't solve the debt overnight, but it shifted Sarah from scarcity to stewardship. And that shift changed everything. Have you ever noticed how in scarcity, even the good things look like threats? You stop seeing doors and only see costs. Generosity flips that. It trains your eyes to spot provision. Imagine for a moment, what would it be like to wake up and not hear the panic of bills in your head? To have margin that lets you say yes to a family trip or no to a toxic job? Picture yourself at the end of the month with a little breathing room, not because you got lucky, but because you learned a new way to live. You gave, stewarded, sought wisdom, created margin, and trusted seasons. This isn't about flashy prosperity, it's about quiet dignity. It's waking up to a life where your finances stop being your identity and start being a tool for freedom. Freedom to serve, to sow, to give back. That is the heart of kingdom wealth. Not more stuff, but more life. If you want to start living by God's hidden wealth laws, here are 5 simple steps you can take this week. 1. Start small with first fruits. Give the first 1 to 3% of your paycheck to God or to someone in need. Start a habit, not a headline. 2. Create one line item called margin. Even $25 a month builds a buffer. Protect that line. 3. Schedule 1 hour for wise counsel. Talk to a trusted friend, pastor, or financial advisor before a big decision. 4. Automate a tiny savings transfer, out of sight, out of panic. Let compounding do its quiet work. 5. List one way you can serve with what you already have. Generosity reorients your heart faster than any budget. If this message landed with you, if you felt a sting and a spark at the same time, do one thing right now. Write down one small first step and put it on your phone. Share this video with one friend who needs hope and comment below, what's one tiny thing you'll change this month? I read every comment, and I'll be awesome for you now. I'll be praying for you. If you want weekly scripts and practical devotionals about money and purpose that actually fit real life, hit subscribe and tap the bell. Let's learn to live like kingdom citizens in every dollar we handle. You are not meant to live under the tyranny of fear. God's hidden wealth laws are an invitation to live free, to steward well, and to walk in dignity. Start small. Trust the process. Watch what God does.